So one of the things that I work on a lot is putting. All right, if you want to get good fast, you are going to pick up the most strokes in your short game. And putting, here's what I find is this crazy, is that you play with your buddies. You know, they give you the 3 or 4 footers, or 3 foot, 2 footers. Maybe they don't. A lot of guys yeah, that's good. Inside the putter length, that's good. Pick it up, move along. We're just trying to have a fun game today, right? A lot of that's going on. And then you join the club championship, or you enter some local tournament or whatever, and you got to putt everything out, and you're a disaster. And, well, it's because you don't work on your putting, and you don't putt those little guys out. This here, I'm going to give you my top 10 tips to putt like a pro. Okay? Now, one free tip is you're going to have to practice your putting. And more than 5 minutes before you hit the first tee box. Okay? Just FYI, it's just not going to happen. You're going to have good days where you're like, man, I'm rolling it. But if you keep your stats, and I use the V1 game app on my phone, and that's what I use. Now, the V1 game app, I wish they had like a different name, because the V1 game app seems, it's interesting because it makes it sound like you're playing a game when you're really just looking at it's keeping your stats, okay? I'm trying to pull up a score so we can see my putting on one of my better days. So this is the V1 game app, and I shot a 200 par 70 this day, and I had 31 putts. 31 putts. Now, you listen to the PGA Tour stats of guys who are winning. You hear them like, oh, or had a great day, like, oh yeah, 26 putts today. That's pretty good. 26. That's 5 more than me. I could have shot a 65. I mean, it tells me my potential score was a 68, and I get that. I could see I double bogeyed the first hole. I hit it like out of bounds. So, well, that's easy. That's 2 strokes right there. But the 31 putts, if I had 28, that's a 67. I mean, that's easy. So putting, to me, is by far the number one thing you can pick up the most. Plus, if you're putting great, your confidence goes through the roof. Then your short game gets better because now you're trying to make it because you don't care where the ball goes afterward. Or when you're hitting your iron shots to the green, you're like, I'm putting so good. I mean, doesn't matter where I hit it. It frees you up. And so it adds even more to your game than you realize, just by being a great putter. So check out the V1 game app, and maybe you want to use that. It helps me keep strokes gained, tells me all my stats. I made 74 feet of putts that day, and I love it. Anyways, V1 game app, link in the video description below. Top 10 ways you're going to improve your putting is coming up right here, right now. One is use a line on the ball. Okay, you see that. Personally, I think the line should be illegal. I think they should outlaw the line. I'll say that right now. But I think you should use the line while it's legal. For practice, if all you use it for is practice while you're playing, that's fine. Like sometimes I use the line just to see, like, how am I reading the putt? Am I reading it correctly? And so I'll line it up there. I'm like, okay, I use the line, and the line rolled pretty good, so I know I started it online, and I'm like, man, is it my putting or my reads? So it could help you there. 2, it could help you, like, is that line rolling tight after you hit it, or is it totally wobbling? Because then you got to just work on, like, your putting stroke, because you're slicing it or you're doing something. That line should be rolling pretty tight, and you want to know that, like, oh, it's my stroke. Oh, it's my reads. Oh, it's both. You got trouble. But at least you know what to practice. So use that line. Next, I would focus on this, your ball position. Move that ball around forward, back, so that sometimes just changing that ball position will help you get it started on line better. So you might want to play around with the ball position. Maybe you have it too far back, maybe it's too far forward, whatever. And it can mess with where you see it on your eyes. Because you might, if it's too far forward, you might be pulling it left. If it's too far back, you might be pushing it right. You might be doing the opposite based on your dominant eye. So mess with that ball position, and that could really help you. Number 8, here's what I want you to do and what I want you not to do. Do not, and people do this all the time, do not hit down on the ball when you're putting, okay? You hit down on the ball, it's going to create too much backspin. You actually want to strike the ball slightly on the upstroke. So practice trying to actually hit up on that ball a little bit. You want that ball to lift in the air and start forward spinning faster. So as you hit up on it, it's going to help. I see too many people hit down on the ball, and it forces the ball into the green, and it'll bounce. And it also, when you hit down on it, you typically pull it left. So you're hitting down and to the left. It's kind of like you're coming over top of it with your driver, right? And you're swinging across the ball, and you're playing this slice. The only problem is in putting, it's never going to slice. It's just going to bounce and go left. And so hitting down on it is really, really something you want to work on. Just practice hitting up on it. It's going to help you come a little more from the inside out, and it's going to get a better roll on that golf ball. So hit up on it. Number 7, here's what I've been doing lately after I played Luke Peavy, and I've seen guys do this before, but step off your distance, okay? Just pace it off. I have 21 feet. One is you're going to be able to enter that into your V1 game app. How many feet was that putt? And you'll be able to step that off. So step it off, because then you'll know like how many feet of putts you actually made. That's a great way to do it. 2, it really helps in practice. So when you're in practice, like today, I stepped off 60 feet and I was practicing lag putts, uphill, downhill. And I just know like, oh, that stroke is this long. It's this long. So then when I have a 55 or a 50 footer on the golf course, I'm like, all right, I know what 60 feet stroke is. So let me just take a little bit off of that. Or if I have 50 feet uphill a lot, I'm like, okay, this is really I'm playing 10% more or 20% more. So it's a 55 or it's a 60 footer because it's so uphill. And I know that stroke. And so you know it based on your practice. Oh, I practice a 20 footer. That's this stroke. Uphill, downhill, side hills. I have a 23-foot putt on the green. Oh, okay. It's basically the same thing. It's a 20 footer. I don't expect to make it. Let me give it, is it downhill? It's just barely down. So let me give it my 20-foot stroke. If it goes in, great. So you know that based on practice. So step those things off with your feet, right? You walk it off. Next is this. I want you to do this 12-foot drill. Practical stuff. 12-foot drill. I put 5 balls in not a circle around the hole, but just like an arc. Not even a half a circle. Just a little arc, maybe like a third of a circle. And I put 5 balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of them 12 feet. And I have to make all 5 in a row. So hit the first one. If it goes in, I get to go to the second ball. If the second ball goes in, I get to go to the third ball. If the third one misses, I start all over. And I have to make the first one. So that first one you're going to get so good at, you're going to just be draining that basically every time. Because you're going to miss, you're going to miss, you're going to miss, you're going to, okay, I got it. And you're going to make it. Then you get it. Then you go to the second one, you're going to miss, you go back. And you're like, well, I know this. Then you make it. And then you get to, okay, it's my second time at the second putt. And I made it. And then, okay, my first time at the third putt, missed, start over. Right? It's a little 12-foot, like, arch drill that I love to do. Do that. Once you get to the 5th ball and you make it, you're done. Okay? You got to make all 5. So I've been there for like an hour and a half and haven't done it. I'm like, I got to go. I can't. I'm going to have to come back tomorrow. Do that. Next up, I want you to do a 6-foot circle drill. So half the distance, 6 feet in a circle. No problem. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to I do it like this. I try to make 5 in a row like 3 times. Not in a row, but I want 5 in a row, And then I'm like, okay, I did it once. And then now I'm like, okay, keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh, I made 5 in a row a second time. Great. Keep going, miss. Then, oh, okay. Then I got 5 in a row 3 times. So whether it's once, 2, 3, 4, 10 times, it's up to you. But 6-foot circle, make 5 in a row more than once. There you go. Do that 2-tee drill where you put 2 tees on the green, just slightly wider than your putter, and put the ball right between them and putt through that. Your putter head, that's going to help you strike the ball with the middle of that putter face. So I'll even put a mark with a Sharpie on the green. Like I'll put the tees down, right? Tee down, got my putter in between. Where's the center of the putter? It's right here. And I take a Sharpie and I mark so I know where to put my ball, right? So put my ball between the 2 tees and put the tees, and I'm just hitting the center of the thing, and I just putt through that thing. That's the Tiger Woods drill. It's money. It's magic. You're going to be great. Number 4. That is number 4. Number 3, get a chalk line. Those things are cheap. You guys probably have one. Snap a chalk line. 3 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet. Just snap that sucker on the green, and it's just so you know you're rolling it on a line. It's a great visual aid. I see it. I got it. Go. You can even draw a line with a Sharpie. Sometimes I put a club down. I just draw a line on it with a Sharpie. Same thing. All right. Next, get one of the mirrors. Don't get the expensive one. Get the cheapest one on Amazon. It's like $6. Mirror. Eyes basically over the ball or just inside. Practice that. So a lot of them have holes in them where you can put tees in. If they don't, drill your own holes and do the 2-tee drill with the mirror at the same time. I love it. All right. Good training aid. Great way to I pick the reed. It's got lines on it. I'm looking perfect. Go. Eyes. Go. 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 And you'll be surprised. You'll be like, man, because it forces you to aim that putter right at the middle of the ball. And you're like, that's not what I think the center of the putter is. But it is. Because the line's there, everything's there, and you're like, okay, and it's you, it's me, right? We align it different. So that's really going to help. And then the final thing, the number one thing to help you become a great putter, putt like the pros, is this: the 3-foot circle drill. 3 feet, 5 tees around the hole. Currently I'm doing 50 in a row. When I go every morning, when I go to practice, I have to make 50 in a row before I move on. And I'm like, okay, usually I start off pretty strong. I'm like, ooh, I'm at 30. Didn't missed yet. Oh, 33, I missed. I'm like, all right. I'd want to miss the first 2 or 3, whatever. But then you go back and then you miss. You can't even do 5. And then you do 10. And then you miss. It's good. Practice should be harder than reality. If you're more nervous when you're playing your buddies for money, that's not good. You want the most pressure in practice. Like Kobe Bryant would always say, practice should be harder than the game. And if it's not, then you're doing it wrong. So same with putting. You've got to make putting more painful, more difficult. It should be harder, more pressure there than when you actually play. If it's not, then when you actually play, and that's a hard thing about golf, because when you actually play, you're like, dude, this actually is for something. Putting is just, I can't leave until I make 50. This is $200. That's okay, whatever. But I'll tell you what, when you can't make 5 in a row and you can't leave till you make 50, that's frustrating. That's painful. That happens. So you've got to make it painful. Not painful, but it's just got to be worth something. And so 3-foot circle drill is just the most torturous. I don't want to say torturous. It's the one drill in putting, in golf, that will make you cry. And that's great, because that will make you great. And you will, and you can make 20, 30, 40, 50. You can do that. They're all straight in. None of them break enough to where you have to really worry. You're not going to practice on a side hill hole, right? You're going to practice on a pretty flat one. So I don't care if the greens are punched. It doesn't matter. You can make it. I don't care if it's sand on it. Doesn't matter. There's divots. You can do it. No excuses. 3-foot circles, that will do it for you. That's how you putt like a pro. It doesn't take any physical, extra. You don't need to be 7 feet tall to be a great putter. You don't need to be a giant muscle guy to do it. It doesn't matter. You don't need some physical attribute that you don't have. You have. Anybody can be a world-class putter. You just have to be willing to do what it takes. Let me know what you think, what you do to work on your putting. Comment below. Thanks for watching, listening, whatever you're doing. See you guys soon.